Hello and welcome to Aurelian University. In this video, I want to talk about the meanings of the Latin cases. So in the last video, I talked about nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative cases. There was another one on there, it was vocative. I don't think I need to use this example to explain the vocative because it's a little bit easier, I think, for people to grasp. But with these 5 cases, I said I was going to explain in a later video what they mean. So here's an English sentence. We have John sent Jane his message with a letter. And we have the cases that all of these nouns would be in if the sentence were in Latin. So the subject of the sentence is nominative, John. And so the person who's doing or acting out the verb will be in the nominative case. We'll have a special ending just for the nominative. Jane here is the dative. The dative is a case that has a meaning of to or for, usually. And so whenever an action is performed to or for somebody, we'll use the dative. So in this case, we could say John sent Jane, or we could also say John sent a letter to Jane, and it would have the same meaning. So dative nouns will have that case. So this noun would have a specific ending that had that meaning. Here we have a genitive. Genitive has a couple different uses, but its main one is possession. And so this is actually interesting. In English, we have actually a possessive form for our nouns and pronouns. For nouns, it's the apostrophe S form. And for pronouns, it's this. We have his. His is the possessive form of he. So just like that in Latin, we would have a separate form for this pronoun that would be just for the genitive, and it would be possessive. Now you actually don't use genitives in exactly the same way in Latin. You might use an adjective here instead, but the idea of possession is actually the same. So genitive is for possession. Accusative is used for the direct object. Here, message. John sent Jane his message. Message here is the direct object. It's the thing being sent. And so we would use accusative for that. And if this were in Latin, the word message would be in its own, it would have a unique ending for the accusative. And specifically the accusative singular, since this is a singular noun. And then the last one, the ablative case, actually has quite a lot of uses. So this is just sort of one of its uses. One of its uses is to show instrumentality. So when a noun is being used as an instrument to accomplish the action of the verb. So John is sending this message using a letter. So the letter is how he's able to do it. He could send it with an email, he could send it with smoke signals, but he's choosing to do it with a letter. The ablative is used to show instrumentality. So any noun that is an instrument used to perform the action of the verb will generally be in the ablative. Another usage for the ablative is with prepositions. So if we said, John sat across from Jane, Jane would be in the ablative and there would be a preposition meaning across from. So ablative is also very often used with prepositions, and actually the accusative can be used with prepositions as well. So some of the cases have a couple of usages. However, these are sort of the main, maybe more stereotypical, more common usages of these cases.